Hey everybody, we will get started in a few minutes as more people roll on in. Hope everyone's having a good Thursday today. We've had a jam-packed week, and I'm excited to talk to the projects today. Hey Seth, Sebi. Hey Cosmos Kiwi, how are you guys doing?
Hello.
Hey, all right. Where in the world are you right now, Sebi?
Hey, I'm in Vienna. Greetings from Vienna,
Oh, okay.
Austria. I live in Austria. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh,
know when we
Already
first
evening
started.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, I know when we first started chatting with your first project, I think you in Brazil at the time, right?
Yeah, exactly. I've been there for 3 months and just took the computer. And as you know, I'm more a physical artist. So this was the start in this journey with you guys.
Yeah, it's been a little over a year now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, now the third collection, more a one of ones now, but I call it the collection anyway. And yeah, I really like to be part of this. It's a pleasure.
Thanks a lot. All right, well, I'll go ahead and start off with some announcements and let people pop on in when they do. So the main announcements for the week are there's a tokenomics update. The signaling proposal is on chain and consists of four different proposals that will go through governance to change the tokenomics. The main effect is that it will lower inflation. So have a look at that and discuss further. We had a community spaces on Tuesday that has now been uploaded to YouTube as well. Feel free to listen to it, and we'll have some more community spaces coming up. I believe there will be a Spanish-based community space next week. The USD flow price for Constellations collection, the USD flow price has been added to the Constellations collection dashboard. So it gives you a more constant readout. The Pixel Wizards of Asia contract has also passed and the game is live. So if you guys own a Pixel Wizard, go and check it out. I have not yet been able to play it myself, but I am going to do it right after this. And as you guys know, we were hacked on Discord and we had a lot of channels that were deleted, and we are slowly rebuilding that back. So we can use you guys to come in there and chat and discuss. We had a lot of great content and conversations that have unfortunately been lost, but that means we can just make some new ones. So with that, I'd like to introduce the projects this week. We have Sebi and we have Cosmos Kiwi. Let's go ahead and hear from Cosmos Kiwis. This is your first time, right?
Yeah. Thanks for having us. So yeah, I'm Tom from Cosmos Kiwis. I'm here with my partner in crime, Queen Kiwi. She might just stay in the background, and she's a bit of a shy Kiwi, and let me do the talking. So yeah, do you want me to talk about the collection, or just to say?
Yeah. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and how you decided to launch this collection?
Yeah, so I think some of the people in the Discord will know we had this idea over a year ago. The idea originally came from Queen Kiwi. She was quite touched by a particular YouTube video in which a cartoon kiwi jumps off the side of a cliff. It's sort of nailed these trees horizontally to try and have the sensation of flying, and meets its end due to gravity, unfortunately. And this kind of concept of a flying kiwi, sort of kiwis with jetpacks and copters and hoverboards really grabbed us, and so we wanted to make this collection. And I had initially thought about launching it on Terra. I was busy investing, well, not my life savings, but as the depeg happened, thinking I'll become a millionaire. And when UST repegged, and we all know how that story went, so retreated for a few months and got back into the space, and eventually saw Stargaze really growing strong and lots of interesting things happening. And so yeah, we decided to make a go of this collection, and it took us a lot longer to actually arrive at the final collection than we thought. It was a lot more involved, and all the collection sort of hand drawn on the iPad and put together. And yeah, we just wanted to make a really fun collection. There's a few aspects of our launch and community and trying to blend some DeFi into it as well that we tried to look into. And I can talk more about that later.
Yeah, feel free to chat about it. Can you tell us a little bit about the art first? How you came up with these kiwis and the different traits and the layers behind them?
Yeah, so I think obviously the fundamental concept is the flightless bird that can fly. So the first thing was to come up with the layer, different ways that they could fly, so copters and jetpacks and things like that. And then became sort of, as I was drawing them a bit more, became obvious that they were sort of military Kiwis and that they were in fact engaged in a war with lots of as yet undisclosed enemies. And just kind of started thinking about really, I used to do Warhammer back in the day, and so a lot of inspiration coming from different Warhammer clans like orcs and things, and they've got lots of little interesting items on them. I just wanted to make it sort of make sense, so they could theoretically fly, but also not too serious. So, like, some of them have I don't know, so road signs as armor, and one of them's got like an anglerfish as a helmet. And the key thing we also developed was sort of aspects of the story. So they are dependent on this fuel called shroomshine, which is basically fermented mushrooms. It's basically alcohol, and not only does it give them their sustenance and they're flying around sort of probably when they're over the limit, but also serves as a biofuel. So shroomshine is a key part. So there's lots of mushroom based things in the collection, and there's sort of other aspects like crystals. So crystals are very important they form part of their electronics, and they also used to refract light, and that might become an important part of their story later on when their enemies appear.
Are you the artist behind it, or was that Queen Kiwi?
So yeah, Queen Kiwi and I came up with the concept, and then I've done the artwork with her together.
Okay, great. And so is your background also as an illustrator, or how did you get into NFTs?
No, my background's not an illustrator. I used to paint Warhammer and used to do it sort of as a hobby. But my career is not that. And how did I get into NFTs? That's a good question. I'm trying to think. My first NFT I minted was probably on Polygon, and I think I got rubbed because I think I minted a clone of some 3D Kong and saw it was way below the floor price and thought, this is amazing. So since then it's been, got better. But yeah, I've always been into Cosmos. I was into Terra initially, and then Terra collapsed, and then so I think on Stargaze, my first one I minted was an Otherworld NFT actually.
Okay, yeah, another recent project. You said you had a DeFi component that you're working on with Cosmos Kiwis. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so the Cosmos Kiwis, I guess when I would have wanted to launch a collection initially on Terra, and I was seeing that maybe it would be interesting to attach a yield with the AUST, which was the anchor UST to the project. So this kind of concept of combining the DeFi with the NFTs was something that I really liked, and a few other projects on Stargaze have also been attracted to this idea. So we've got yield bots, fuzzy flies, Otherworld. These projects have also got yield, and I think Skymonks as well. They've got their NFTs backed by a real value. And so the DeFi aspect of our project is that I wanted to combine these two things. I wanted to have a yield, but also to be backed. And the key problem I saw with backing an NFT was that if you back it with a certain value, you have to burn the NFT to access it. And so, Kiwis are an endangered species, probably shouldn't be burning them. So I thought, is there a way of splitting the backing and the yield? And so in our project, the majority of the mint, I think over 60%, is going to go to a war chest. 50% of the war chest will be state stars, and every Kiwi that you hold will receive the yield from the state stars every 3 months. We'll do a snapshot, and we'll send the stars to the wallets that hold the Kiwis. The other part of it is the backed, and so we can liken this to the Prism protocol, and we've got the principal and the yield, and the backing is the principal. If you mint 5 Kiwis by the snapshot date, that forms a crew, and this crew then gets a key, and the key will be a separate collection, and we'll airdrop it to people who hold the 5 Kiwis, and the key will be backed by the other 50% of the war chest, and that's going to be comprised mostly of ST Atom, which is liquid state atom, a small portion of liquid state stars, currently ST stars, and then state stride as well. And the idea is that key, because they're liquid state derivatives, majority of which will auto compound, and that the value of that key should go up over time. The key also, the holders of the key NFTs, is only going to be a maximum of 200 in existence, which is 1,000 Kiwis divided by 5 crews. And the key NFTs you can burn them to access the underlying backing, but we're hoping people will hold on to them, because that key will get you airdrops from our future collections, and a proportion of revenue from the future collections will also go into the war chest for the keys. And so the war chest for the keys will grow over time, and the backing of the keys will grow over time. And we'll kind of see it as sort of a share in our project or sort of enterprise going forwards. We've got lots of plans for other collections and how we can really bring value and entertainment to our community. And so yeah, that's essentially the headline is keys are the principal or the backed value, and then the Kiwis are earning a small yield as well. And they're just sort of cool artwork that I think people will hopefully resonate with.
Yeah, the art is really great, and you have almost like a gamification component built into it as well. I've also seen you collaborate with a lot of other projects, like including the Pixel Wizards recently. What was your in collaborating with people?
Sorry, I think you broke up there. What was it like collaborating?
Yeah, because I think you made a couple of like more than a handful of collaborations, right?
Yeah, it was really fun. I mean, everyone in Stargaze is really open and really easy to work with, and there's such a great sort of culture of collaborating between different projects, and I think it's really been really fun to add traits from different projects into our collection. And yeah, I think it's going to be interesting looking back in a couple of years' time on the collection and seeing sort of a snapshot, almost like a snapshot in time of which collections were around and which collections were really sort of important to the community. And yeah, it's been super fun to collaborate, and I think it's really important. And Kiwis is obviously up to collaboration. Actually, we've already had a collaboration in Yield Bots. The baby bots had a baby Kiwi in their hand, and yeah, I had to buy one. I didn't get airdropped one, which I was disappointed, but yeah, I was happy to then get that off the marketplace. But yeah, collaboration is a really essential part of Stargaze. It's really good to see.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we've grown an organic collaborative community. Collections help each other out. A lot of them are used on the call right now.
Yeah, hey, I can see a few. Yeah.
Let's go and hear from Sebi about his new project. Hey, Sebi.
Hey guys. Yeah, I mean, as you know, I had these pretty big collections before, and this time it's different. I have one of ones. It's only 25 pieces, and they are halftone drawings I did with a robotic drawing tool on physical paper. So these pieces actually exist, and there is maybe the main target or the idea I wanted to work around was the realms of the digital and the analog world. So coming to the digital world as an creator in the analog and physical world was kind of interesting for me, right? So all of these pieces make use of media that's already there. So it's actually a kind of a remix or mashup of existing imagery. And I built like a coded with a developer coded a tool that's called Wheel of Fortune. And with this tool, I pick random pictures of my collections, like image collections I have for certain things, like women with gun, or like from art history, because I studied art history. I have a huge collection of art history paintings. So I try to incorporate them and make use of the random component. And so it's paintings. It's actually paintings, and I think that one of ones are not as many as there should be on Stargaze, and I'm happy to contribute something to this smaller group of NFTs.
Yeah, for the people that may not be familiar, could you tell us a little bit about your background as well as an artist, and the other project you made?
Yeah, sure. So since 20 years, I turned 40 soon. Since 20 years, I work as an artist. I live off my paintings. I live off doing huge murals, wall paintings, and of commission work for canvases. For example, I have a 3.5 meter by almost 2 meter painting right in front of me. The studio is stinky from spray paint. So just to give you a feeling where I'm standing right now. And this commission goes to the collector. So I'm really in the physical world of art. And as I said, I work my way up since 20 years. and yeah, I mean, the digital realm. I didn't want to close this door in front of me, so I went into that. And as we talked in the beginning, I've been one of the later, but still maybe Genesis creators on Stargaze. I was picked from the team, and this was a huge opportunity. Thanks again for that, and it was great to bring out this let's say pieces from the classical artwork to the new art world that's growing right now in the NFT space.
Yeah, your first collection was physically big, right? That the mass collection.
Exactly, I did. Yeah, yeah. For half a year, I made a plaster mask of my face every day, and then I reused these photographs to generate 5,000 NFTs that were sold through Stargaze in the beginning. And yeah, I'm happy they are out there and living and doing something and making people happy collecting them.
Yeah, we've had some artists that have gone from like one collections to like, larger, more generative collections, and you've done the opposite approach, right? You've gone
Yeah.
from the collections to small sign-up collections.
Yeah, I mean, I started with what I saw was like the thing to do with the NFTs, but then I was digging deeper and deeper into the space and found out that there is also these one-of-ones. And as I'm a painter, I paint a painting. You know, it's one piece you work a certain amount of time on, and that's why I think maybe stepping back a little bit after going a little bit far, yeah, with huge collections, I think it was good for me as an artist to just step back and do something that's more of a classical painting, right? And put it out there and see what's going to happen with them.
Yeah.
So and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's another thing. If you own one of these NFTs, you get a physical one of this collection for 25% off. So just a little thing I want to give with them, you know. So it's really my interest of connecting these two worlds a little bit.
Yeah, and these are actually quite large prints, aren't they?
These things are 100 by 70 centimeters, so they're good for a wall that's not too small. And then I made good repro photos of them. So even doing a print of them with the resolution I put out there is possible. And so you're free to do that, right? And yeah, they're pretty big. I mean, not as big as my stencils go, but they're as big as a robotic drawing goes. I think.
Right. Yeah. They look great. Is there when did you start working on this project?
I
And
started
how do you decide what
in
to put in?
yeah, in 2002 I started to dig into this robotic drawing stuff. Since I work with halftones, they look a little bit like my other work, so that's the connection to all my work, like the red string through my work. And so the first pieces were created in 2002, and the second half of them was created during this year. So I just went on creating till I had a good batch of pieces to go out and put them out as NFTs.
Right. I think I saw some anime maybe in there as well, part of the collage.
Yes, of course. I love Japan. And of course, they are in my media collection. And the randomizer luckily put me some nice girls out there in my paintings. And yeah, that's funny because this randomizer tool, the Wheel of Fortune, looks like one-armed bandit. I think it's the same in English. Yeah, and it's the media is just going by on the screen like in this speed, chup 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 chup, and then I push a button and one stops. So I used to use this tool to do paintings, actually, not the robotic drawings, but paintings. And this tool I use since 10 years. So I reused it for this purpose to do the draft on the computer and then go to the machine and have it drawn. But still, it's not just going there and pushing a button. It's there's like 10 layers in some of them doing different stuff. So it's more like a painting, like physically dealing with what's coming out and then picking the good pieces in the end.
Yeah, it's certainly a process. So if people
it
don't
is.
own, if people don't own the NFT, they can still get a print from you, right?
I don't repeat them. There are one of ones, so I cannot actually push the button and have it done again. It's impossible. There's because the lines of the pinball is not doing the same thing every time, you know. So it's more like a painting that you cannot actually repeat. But you can print, of course, the photo of the original pinball drawing. That's possible, of course. But you can do that by yourself. If you own the NFT, you have a real quality JPEG, and you can go out there and have it printed. Of course, you can.
Oh, okay. So from what I understand is that you've already like made 25 of these physical images, right? You already
Yes,
have
yes.
them, and they're meant to only go with the owner of the NFT.
Oh no, no, it's not. Some of them are already sold. So the deal is you can commission me for a piece of the same with the same mechanics, with the same approach of painting as to speak. Because I have exhibitions with these pieces already, and they're out there in the physical world already. And now as NFTs, you just get a reduced price if you commission me for one piece. What I do if a customer comes or a collector comes, they give me 3 words, for example, and I try to make an paint a painting with this information they give me. So that's how it evolved around these robotic drawings right now.
Okay, understood. Great. And what will the cost of one of these physical pieces be?
They're more expensive than the NFTs. Actually, they're right under 3,000 euros.
Okay, got it. And if you own an NFT, you get a 25% discount of that.
Exactly. But it's handmade
That's a good
paper.
deal.
It's a long process, and I have a career behind me, so I have a price level reached already for my physical work, and that's where I am right now. And this might change and go up, so I don't know. That's what it is right now.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot. All right, guys, let's open up the floor for questions for Sebi and Cosmos Kiwi. If you guys have any questions or comments, please pop up and we'll get you answered. All right, in the meantime, while people come on up, Cosmos Kiwi, can you tell us what you learned from this process of creating an NFT collection? This was your first one, right? Like, what were any hurdles you had to overcome or anything you'd do differently?
Yeah, it's a good question. I guess I didn't appreciate how long one of ones take. So I mean, I've seen recently, I think Cosmos Ape Alliance have done lots and lots of one of ones, and they're very important to a collection. But they really are something special, and they really do take a long time. And so probably if I was to redo it again, I would try and go back and do a few more one of ones. But I think I can bear that in mind for future collections. I know one of ones are really important to collectors and to communities. So that's number one. I think that goes into the overall thing of things take twice, 3 times, 4 times longer than you think they will, just in terms of the creative process and the sort of metadata and generating the right sort of balance between the rarities of the traits and all these things are, I guess, something that I've never done before. So yeah, I think lots learned. Community building, I guess, is something that also is quite new to me. I've never set up a Discord server until this project or a Twitter page and sort of hi, was I rugged or
No, we can hear you.
oh okay. So community building and trying to sort of getting feedback from the community about what they like and what they want, and it's been really, really fun, that part, actually. And I wish I'd got into it a lot sooner. I wish I'd probably started a year ago. So yeah, I think the main lesson is start now, because things take a long time, and you've got lots of skills to learn, lots of people to meet, lots of fun to have. So yeah, start early.
So yeah, would you say that's your best piece of advice for people wanting to create a collection?
Yeah, I think that there's lots of really easy tools out there, lots of advice in the community, people really willing to there's a really active community that are always on the lookout for new projects, and if there's something interesting, they'll share it, and it's really kind of, I guess, a fertile ground to really explore new ideas. So if you want to explore an idea for collection, I think Stargaze is a really good place to do it. If you want to talk about ideas for collection, then feel free to sort of message me if you think that I can give some feedback on the ideas. I think start early and don't be afraid to be judged for your idea. I think this is a really friendly and welcoming community, and just a great place to be.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'd like to now's a great opportunity to give a shout out to Stardy, Alcadata, Circin, and Falcone, who are in here right now, who help projects and creators launch every single day. So thank you guys. I'm sure they helped you out a lot too.
Yeah, we had a lot of conversations. I'm sorry, guys. It's probably a bit frustrating. You guys have been amazing. Thank you so much.
Real quick, how many tweets do you have? Like, how many individual pieces did you have to draw for your collection? Because it seems very detailed and intricate.
I don't actually have a number off the top of my head how many traits that I drew. There's 1,000 pieces. I don't have that number on top. I kind of just would do bouts of drawing and then stop a bit and then think, oh, I've got this idea, I'll draw this, and oh, it'd be cool if they had a boombox, I'll draw a boombox, and it kind of just evolved quite naturally. I didn't have like a set list at the start of things that I wanted to do. I needed to have 40 of X and 20 of Y in order to have this size collection. I kind of just added to it organically as over the weeks and over the months until I got to this. I think like any art, I could keep on adding forever, but you got to draw a line in the sand and sort of put it out there, and there's always opportunities for more collections and more ideas. So that's part of artwork. It doesn't really ever feel finished, but it is finished now. It's live. People are minting it. So
yeah, no, 100%. You never really finish. You just thanks a lot. Hey, Tendermint Timmy, you are up. Welcome.
How's it going, guys?
Going great.
Yeah, I had a question, I guess, both for you, Ruan, on the technical side, but then also for both of the guests up here, especially Kiwi. Like kind of specifically on what you just said about, somewhere you have to draw a line in the sand. I'm a bit of an NFT noob when it comes to the like underlying text, so maybe this is already a thing, or this might be a dumb question, but I've long wondered like if there's something holding us back, or like the concept of being able to add to a collection after its initial launch or mint, especially for one things like this that could be slow to create or even maybe like custom commissioned. Like it would be cool if after the initial launch, someone could come to Kiwi or Seb and say, hey, I want this specific custom whatever, but I still want it to be part of the collection. So like once it's made, it could be added to the chain and marketplace, but not be a new collection, like added to a pre-existing one. So I guess the question is the tech there, and then would you guys use that for Sebi and Kiwi?
Thanks for the question.
So we do have the one-of-one minter where you can do that. So the way that works is there is no like primary sale, like there's no vending minter. So the creator would create the one-of-one, and it would get dropped into their wallet, and then they would be able to list it directly onto the marketplace. And I do know that Fuzzy Flies is already utilizing this for their one-of-one collection. So they'll take commissions from people who want like their own custom fly. Then they will create it and mint it and drop and send it over to the owner. So that's possible. If you're talking probably like an appendable vending collection, we did look at that. I think
I might be talking about what you just described. Let me just ask like a follow-up question. When you say one-of-one minter, as in
sorry.
So like let's use my Joe collection for an example. Could I go add another Joe to that collection after the fact with the one-of-one minter? Or no, that's not how it works.
No, it would be a separate collection. So at the moment you can't add to like a vending, like a 10K collection. Or like like one of those larger collections. That has been a request. We did look at doing that. It does change like the rarity, right? So whenever you add another NFT with different characteristics, it changes the rarity, and it could also like change like the kind of like the value and the meaning of the other pieces in that collection. So it's something that like the creators and the collectors would have to be aware of. It has been a request.
I'm sorry. I was going to say maybe it'd be like the choice. Like when you make a collection, you can pick one of two types. That way it's, public to the community. They know this is a type of collection where new ones could come in, like they know that going into buying it.
Exactly. Well, then there's also like possibly a way to migrate the collection, right? So like you can create your collection and say that, hey, I'm not going to add anything more, and then you can migrate that collection and start adding more, and then how does that change like the relationship with the community as well as like the rarity and value of the objects that have already been minted. But yeah, I mean, it definitely has been a request because I'm guessing you want to add some more Joes, maybe.
No, actually, just something that's come up for a number of reasons. Like, well, actually, at first, like when the Joe V3 thing launched, I was like, oh, it'd be cool if I could just add these to the original collection. But no, don't have anything in particular in mind there. More so just was listening to like Kiwi talk here, and these types of collections are just kind of different than like mass, like PFP collections in that, yeah, I wasn't thinking anything personal for myself, but for something like his project, it'd be very cool if, a year down the road, I could get my own new Kiwi, but it's still part of that collection. So it's part of that community and family and such.
Yeah, no, for sure. I understand. Yeah, Sebi, yeah, do you want to
Yeah.
add it?
Yeah, exactly. That is what I actually need for this collection, right? I started with 25 people, and as you said in your question already, if there's somebody commissioning me for a piece, and even if it's just an NFT piece, yeah, you give me 3 letters and I produce that thing. Or if you buy the physical work or whatever way we go, there's a new NFT. Even if I sell a physical new one, I can say there is the NFT on Stargaze as well. I can drop it to your wallet, So, but what I wanted or would think would be best for the project, in my case, in this 25 plus case, would be to have it in this one collection, kind of adding it afterwards. First the vending, and then I don't think if if I make one of ones and put them on the market, okay, they are there, but they're not, if you go into this collection, they're not part of this. So that would be beautiful if I can do that anyhow.
Sebi and Kiwi, do your guys' NFTs have like attributes in the standard way that like, Bored Ape Yachts and such do, or not so much?
I have chosen not to have rarity for this collection. My other collections have a lot of attributes, doing a lot with rarity, but this one are one of ones. I don't want them to be in
Yeah.
fights for the first place. You know what I mean? Each
So
of them
I almost
is the
wonder.
same value. Yeah.
I
So
almost wonder if you could.
I put attributes that don't match or match 100%. So there is no rarity in the end. And for example, I have measured the meters the drawing tool actually draws. So you have the attribute of the meters the drawing tool did. So for example, 2,500 meters of pinball drawing on the paper. And you can zoom in and see each line of them. So it's a very artsy thing. But I didn't want them to be in any rarity score or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cosmos Kiwi.
Yeah. I guess you could just go back to your first question. I guess you could launch a collection as a one-of-one collection, but you'd have to, and then that would give you the ability to add more later down the line. But I think you'd have to do it individually. So I'd have to upload. I don't think it'd be suitable for a large collection. You'd have to upload each individual NFT, and that would take, I think, a long time. So yeah, that's how you probably keep it open to adding new NFTs to the same collection, and that could be possible for a smaller collection, I guess. But for I think 1,000, it might not be practical.
Could you maybe do a workaround where you launch a collection of like the maximum number, let's say like 10,000, but the image for them all is just white and blank, and you self-mint them to yourself. And then as you develop the one-of-one art pieces, you go and replace that white image on IPFS or on NFT storage or wherever you're choosing to store it. And then would that potentially be a workaround? I know that defeats some of the purposes of NFTs, but for collections that don't have attributes and rarity and are really just art focused, could that be a solution?
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. It's basically mint and reveal, right? And so that is going to be an option now with V2 Mutable that's currently on chain. You can do that with, I think, the V1 collections right now. But in general, for like these one-of-one pieces, and I think Sebi and I may have talked about this collection as well. If you're not really doing a whole like one of one pieces generally don't have rarity, right? They're individual pieces that they're completely like bespoke out of any other collection. So it makes more sense to do them as that kind of one of one. There's only like 25 pieces here, right? The vending minter is really meant to be these like larger like collections, 500 or 1,000 plus pieces. The main reason we didn't go with that one of one type collection with the minters because we're still waiting on the timed auctions, the live auctions, like the eBay style ones. So for these very like individual bespoke pieces, it makes sense to auction them off on like a timer, right? So the market really will decide what it is because they're not really related to any other pieces. Yes, Abby?
Yeah, I totally understand, but in the end, it's always nice to put them all in the same box. So even if the name, you cannot use the same name, right? So, but I have a collection name, thanks, DHX, and I would rather love to keep them in the same box with the same name, than putting a two or a second part or whatever next to it. You know what I mean? So this is just more beautiful. It's
Yeah, no, I agree, and this is something that we've had some requests on. Like for example, like the Anya collections, right? And the Women from Cosmos, they have different parts. So that's something we can do on the front end, or like create another contract that connects all of the other collections together. So you're able to basically like view them at least in the front end, or they can all be in the same place, basically. It's definitely something we had requests for, and something that's on the roadmap, but I can't give you a timeline.
Oh wow, that's great to hear. So I think it's important for some artists that are more the one of one artists or more classical artists. This would be great to have the opportunity to have them at least in the front end visually put in one place.
I think this is also this is like helping me realize how fundamentally different like collections can be. Because like what we're talking about being able to add to a collection or change the image with my workaround, that actually kind of fundamentally undermines like the benefits of crypto and why NFTs got popular, and that it's immutable. It is exactly what it is. But like this is just helping me see there's two totally different camps. There's people that might want to use NFTs more as a utility or like collectible type thing, like trading cards where there's a certain amount ever. But then completely like separate from that, there are ones that are doing it more for the art side and want more of the dynamicness to add over time and such. Like, and both groups should definitely be catered to, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, creators are gonna be creative, and
creators are gonna be creative. I like that.
All right, cool guys. Any questions for Sebi and Cosmos Kiwis? Please pop up, guys. This is a great conversation. Thanks for bringing this up to me. Sebi, do you have any advice for creators who may have made larger collections and now coming into smaller collections like this?
What can I say? I mean, the most beautiful part in doing art is the creation process. So whatever you create, this is great. But from going down from a huge collection to smaller ones, what can I say? The advice was, for me, it was more easy to studio, maybe from the technical side, because first I'm not a programmer, so I had to learn all these command line things. Was not that hard, but you have to deal with it. But now you have the studio, and this is streamlined. This just is so nice and great. And even for my bigger collections, I just changed some hiccups in the metadata files, and this even worked out for me as a non-programmer. So just create and be part of this beautiful community. I mean, what can I say? The advice is just do it.
Yeah, you heard it, guys. Just do it. And yeah, and again, the one-of-one minter makes it much more accessible for anyone to create anything. Like the price to create it is only 250 stars and 5 stars for every NFT that you add. So it's an easy way to just play around with it. Create a collection in an NFT and put it out there. And especially if it's an individual piece, there's no reason not to give it a shot.
Did I understand right? If I don't use the vending minter, what I did for these 25 pieces, because it's just fun to get a random one of these 25 pieces, right? So this was the right decision. But if I do the 1 of 1 minter, I can add to this one.
Yep, that's correct. Each
Oh.
NFT you add will be 5 stars.
Okay, I got it. So you go in the studio, you go into this collection and you just add another one.
Yep, that's it.
Oh,
100%.
well, thanks.
And I believe you could even add the individual metadata within Studio for each of them, so you don't have to like have a JSON ready.
Great to hear. Thanks.
Just to go back to that, you talked about you can change the IPFS JPEG for an NFT. Is that accurate, or?
I actually don't know.
I changed the metadata file, so I think this would be also true for the images. I think
in the metadata, it has a URL, right? So
Yeah.
you would just change the URL to your new image. Yeah.
So could you then? I guess you could then. I don't know. For example, lots of people.
No.
Lots of.
That doesn't sound right, because otherwise how are NFTs immutable at all?
Exactly.
Well, exactly, right? So NFTs aren't really meant to be changed, but people needed to do that, so we created a method to do that. So yeah, there were metadata issues, right? Like a bunch of the original V1 collections did. I know said you had an issue. You had a collection issue. Women from Cosmos did, and plenty of other ones. So this helps correct those. But yeah, you're right. It does not make it immutable. It's now immutable.
So
But
wait,
it
just to
can
make
also
sure,
freeze up anything and reveal,
freeze
right?
it, right? You can freeze it afterwards. What I read.
I believe so. I don't know the technical details. That's a great question for Cirkin if you want to come up here and discuss that. But yeah, so it opens up like mint to reveal, right? So like Ethereum, I don't believe they have random minting because gas fees are so high. So they do mint and then reveal and change like the change the link.
So can you also change let's say you had a collection with the metadata and all the different traits. Can you, for an individual NFT, can you change the metadata just entirely and then also change the image?
Yep, sure can.
yeah. So like, just to make sure I'm getting this straight, I could go replace a JSON, which is what the metadata is, for one of the NFTs in the Joe collection, and have it point to a different URL of a totally different image, and that's what would show up now for that NFT.
Yes, I believe that's right. Sir can give me a thumbs up if that's correct, but I'm pretty sure that's it.
Because that's super bearish, right? That's awful. That doesn't seem good.
Oh, that's great.
It's good for your particular case of being an artist, but not for the majority of NFT collections that treat them like tokens that are like immutable and they have faith in what they are and how many there's ever going to be. Like that's kind of concerning to hear. That should be a feature, but it should not be available to everything, I don't think, unless I'm missing something.
But if the IPFS get taken down, I'm not sure, but you can lose the image at all, like the whole thing, right? Or am I wrong?
Correct. But I think IPFS is something kind of like a blockchain where no one single point of failure can shut it down.
On my like,
Yeah,
I got some NFTs dropped and in my wallet, and one of them didn't show a picture and no metadata, nothing. So I just burned it. So what was this thing? I can't make a rhyme out of that.
Sorry, what was your question?
Somebody, like, sometimes if you're a creator, you get some NFTs dropped in your wallet, right? So that's fine and that's nice. But at the same time, I had one I burned today that didn't have an image and no metadata in it. So I was wondering what this was, and I just burned it. Just because of the IPFS problem that's maybe occurring when the files get lost or whatever. And like, we're talking about what an NFT is, right? We are in the core of the thing. Immutable, is it? If there is something like a empty shell in my wallet, that's the question.
Yeah, it could be very well that there's a pinning issue for the image, or it was just deployed incorrectly. There was an issue in the metadata. It's hard to say exactly what the issue was, but yeah, sometimes if an image has recently been like sent to IPFS, it'll take a while for it to be retrieved. And so that's kind of why we also recommend for you to put all your assets on IPFS first, like do it through testnet, because it'll take a while to pin.
Yeah, I have another question on this topic. For example, I put my all one Purple Edition collection that's 41 plus gigabytes, and that was too big for Pinata or any free service. So I put it to NFT.storage, and this is a free service as well. But now they were gonna charge something per year for utilizing their service. So I was wondering if I don't pay that as a creator, will all my collectors lose their NFTs? I'm just wondering if you know.
I don't think they'll lose their NFTs, but I don't think it'll get recalled as fast. I have to look into that more, but we're also looking at a redundancy layer as well with a service called Jackal. It'll just be slower, but it'll be another place to store your data. But yeah, so stuff that doesn't get used as often, it'll just take a while for it to be retrieved through IPFS. Stardy, you're up. Do you have anything to add to this?
Hey guys, I just wanted to clarify something. So we have like a pinning service for our collections in Stargaze. So even if like your service on IPFS isn't working, you won't have to worry too much because we have it on Stargaze. So just to clarify for Sappy.
Thank you so much for telling me this. But it was an issue I didn't understand. We are in a new waters, right? So good to hear you're aware of this. Probably a problem of tomorrow. If you think in 10 years or something, you know, if you pay for a service for 10 years, maybe you're not there anymore. You know what I mean? And I was wondering, but if you have a redundancy in mind to do that, to have them collected somewhere else on a different storage, that sounds beautiful to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then even within Studio, we might find a way for creators to be able to, pay for that redundancy or to add more to IPFS. Definitely something we actually chatted about just even earlier today. And then there was a question about the mutable stuff as well. What was the question on that? Maybe that was Timmy. That I hope we answered your question. Does anyone? Go ahead.
I think the discussion was, it's not immutable, right? It's not immutable. I think that was the discussion. If you can change the metadata and the IPFS JPEG.
So the thing is, to have it mutable, you will have to choose to deliver the project as mutable. So for those that were immutable at first, right, everyone, you would have to migrate to that mutable contract. So it's not automatically, and yeah, it needs to be like a choice by the creator to do that.
So Stargaze has I guess two different systems. One is immutable and one is mutable.
Yes. So the contract is still launching. I think it was released like a few minutes before the spaces. So it's not like on chain yet. It's a proposal. But yeah, we will have like two different types of collections to deliver. Like you can deliver it as immutable, and I think the fee will also be different for mutable because like it's a premium feature. So probably will cost a little bit more to have mutable.
Okay. But I think Timmy's question was, if they're all mutable, then does that mean that kind of I guess defeats the purpose of the NFT? But I guess you can kind of opt in to a mutable contract. Is that right?
Yeah, I can't really say about like the NFT, purpose, but yeah, it needs to be like chosen by the creator. It's not automatically, and every update needs to be on chain. So yeah,
Okay.
not sure if that answers the question.
Yeah, I guess the analogy I was thinking when I asked that is like, so I know, for example, there's a Magic the Gathering playing card that's worth like $50,000 or something. And it's worth that because it's the only one in existence that's like that, and because it's never going to change. It's a physical card. And that's kind of the beauty that I thought NFTs were tapping into. So it's phenomenal to hear that Stargaze has both options, because that's the best of both worlds. It just scared me for a moment when it seemed like, wait, all NFTs on Stargaze are mutable? But having both options is the best, because there's definitely pros and cons both ways.
Yeah, I think ultimately it boils down to what the creator wants to do, right? Because the creator is the admin of the contract, and they can choose whether or not to change it or not. So there's still some level of trust that goes in there. Yeah, I mean, sure, I guess a creator could completely rug the collection, all right, and then just completely like wipe all the metadata. But like, what's the value in the creator to do that? Like, I guess some people just want to see the world burn, but
I think like
it's not
the
like that.
easiest solution would maybe just be have some icon that is shown in the corner of all collections and profile pictures that indicates if that collection is mutable or not. So if you see that icon, just know like the creator could change it. Maybe that's a benefit because that's how the project's designed. But if you don't see it, like this thing's never going to change. This is a locked in kind of classic NFT. I think it could be as simple as just adding a little icon or something like that.
Yeah, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Stardy, but any creator can have the option to change their metadata or anything, right? Because they are the admin of the contract.
If
Oh, wait,
if they migrate to the contract that is updatable, yes. It's not like you go to studio and upload a new, IPFS. You need to first migrate, and then you can upload it.
Does migrating have to go through governance? Or is that something I could do on my own without anyone else realizing?
Can you repeat it again? I didn't hear.
Yeah, it's the admin of the contract. So the creator of the contract decides to migrate. So this may be something where, maybe the admin of the contract can be a multi-sig or like a DAO, and then they can decide whether or not to do that.
Oh my gosh. It should just be the DAO of whatever collection it is.
Yeah, so this might help alleviate some of those concerns, right? The community can decide if they want to do that, because there are instances, right, where the creator may have vanished or isn't very active, and the community wants to take it over.
That's a phenomenal solution. Yeah, that's great.
Sebi, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I just went through this process you're just discussing, and I had to recreate the correct metadata for, I think, from my all one collection. It was like 30 pieces that had some hiccups and typos in the metadata, and I wanted to change them, of course, because it's more beautiful if it's what it should be, right? And not like a trait that's called A and makes no sense. So I tried to get rid of this, and then I found out when I migrate to the other contract, I can do that actually, and I was pretty happy to do that. As you said, some of the earlier collections run into these problems, and I think it's very good feature for the creators, and I really like this idea of if you freeze the collection afterwards. I saw there's one possibility to do that in the studio. It would be interesting to have one of these icons or something somewhere saying this thing can't be changed anymore. I think that's a beautiful idea and solution for that problem.
I'll give you a simpler solution, Sebi, to the whole metadata thing. Just do what we did with the joke collection and just completely scuff it. Our attributes were like guy, person, hat, and every single one had exact even like rarity traits.
Okay,
I'm kidding, of course.
Yeah, got the idea.
I'm kidding, of course, but it was fun.
Yeah,
we were setting that up, and my dad like, "What should we do for attributes?" And I was like, "Whatever you want."
Whatever you want. In my case, it's more like the creative parts of the drawing that the computer puts together, right? So I wanted them to make some sense, and there's a lot, like the still minting, okay. But my second collection is very complicated in how it's put together. There's so many layers and so much information. So at least for me or for the owner, I wanted to give them something. And there's of course some Easter eggs and whatever. And it's fun. I really like this metadata stuff. But if you finish this and you put it out there and there's some little mistakes, you can't sleep anymore, you know. So I was happy to be able to change them, and then I want to, when it's done, I want to say, okay, that's it, fine, give me this button there, you know, or this symbol of I can't change anything anymore, because exactly NFT, the N is the problem if you can change anything, you know.
Yeah, I totally understand. And yeah, it's an interesting conversation we're having, right? Because yeah, like we said earlier, like they're supposed to be completely immutable and not changeable, but that's not human nature. So we have to figure out how to work with people and real problems. All right, guys. Timmy, yeah, there's something you wanted to chat about, right?
I could, but I don't want to feel like I came up here just to show one of my projects. I was really just interested in digging into that question, and because both of the other guests here are like one of one, so I thought it was cool. But
No, feel free to.
I don't. Okay. So yeah, I've never been a huge NFT guy actually. Like I've seen the fun in them, I've seen the value. I've also seen a lot of scams, which kept me wary. But always been a massive fan of the tech. Like I'm really excited for NFTs to start to be used for like identification type purposes or in games and stuff, that sort of thing. But because of Stargaze purely, Bad Kids, which Zeke gave me one of back in the day, and then the Joe collection, I've changed my mind a bit. I see the appeal, I see the community, it's very fun. And so I'm currently working for a team that's building a new wallet for the Interchain. Actually, the only thing I'll say about the wallet is we're integrating Stargaze and other NFT platforms in a really like native way. So no longer will you have to load up a DApp browser or go to the Stargaze site. You can still do that if you want, but you should just be able to go to the NFT section of your wallet and you see everything there, from Stargaze to OmniFlix to wherever else, and you can interact with them, and just making it really accessible for new users. But along with that wallet, I got to put together an NFT collection that we're going to be dropping on Stargaze. No mint at all, so this isn't like a profit generating thing, really just kind of marketing, fun, community, primarily community, in that every single attribute and the visuals that go with them is the name of like a chain or a project in the cosmos. So like there's head accessories for Osmosis, Stargaze, the hub, etc. There are backgrounds that fit. There's a Cosmos Spaces background. There's a couple cool TerraSpaces backgrounds. One with a Joe in there that I think you might like, Finn. I don't know if you're here listening or just recording, but so we're going to be dropping this along with the wallet, just as like a representation of the wallet itself, just right, like really interchain, bringing chains together, unifying things. The collection, as I put it together, had 18.4 million possible permutations, and I just ran a random generator on most of them. I did like 1,000 handcrafted custom ones, but for the 9,000 there's a chance there are some repeats in there, but statistically, I think every one in this collection will be like a one of one, or at worst like a one of two, which will be just kind of interesting and fun. And there's no price for it, so we can just play around with weird kind of distributions like this. Yeah, so that's something that's coming soon. And what else? Oh, I guess the biggest part is, what's the purpose of these besides some fun and marketing? We want to make a DAO on Stargaze with them, where they are the governance tokens for the DAO, and our users get input on the direction the wallet progresses. So let's say some new chain launches and it's like not a standard SDK chain, or maybe it's a weird EVM or something, and it would take some extra development to like implement. We can let our community voice like how much of a priority that should be. Like if you're holding these NFTs and you're in the DAO, and we hear everyone like, yeah, we want access to this chain ASAP. Like it's the hot new thing. Like we're going to hear that and respond to it. And way later down the road, like an idea we're playing with, although we're not even near there technically at all, is if we ever convert to a smart contract wallet, the DAO could actually have direct control over it rather than just signaling. But that's a whole other basket of worms that would be like way later down the road. But yeah, so that's some fun stuff we have coming up. I appreciate you giving me a moment to talk about it. I could go on and on about it, so I'm gonna stop there. Very excited.
Yeah. Now we could use an NFT focused wallet in the Cosmos, so it's exciting to see what you guys are building.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. I think wallets are just crucial for mass adoption, really. Like just general, like if I'm thinking of my mom or anyone else getting into crypto, it all starts with the wallet being fun, intuitive, easy, and accessible.
Hey, Seth, you had your hand up?
Yeah, just because the term one of ones, as far as I'm aware of that, oh, yeah, sure, each one of them is different. So it's a one of one, right? So all my, how many are they? 8,000 pieces plus are one of ones. But I think this term is a little complicated as this space of NFTs evolves and stuff. I think one of ones is used for pieces that are actually not computer generated as much as the collections, right? Something like that. So yeah, but so I have only one of ones. I just want to throw that in.
No, I've been noticing as I've been more involved with NFTs that there is some like language colloquial type stuff that we need to iron out. Because yeah, what I was talking about, like, so 9,000 of our collection are one of ones as far as rarity, but they're just generated through a random generator. Whereas another 1,000 are also one of ones, but more what you're talking about. Like I actually handcrafted and picked what went together and did custom stuff. And just they both kind of fit the term one of one, but they definitely mean different things. I totally agree.
Yeah, I just wanted to make that understandable, because even in my bigger collections, I have one of ones. Like in the all one collection, I have hand painted ones as well, like only 3 pieces, and then I have the generated ones on top. So these ones have different metadata, and so it's extinguishable from each other, right?
I think we should figure out this language too, because otherwise there's the risk of someone like me coming along and saying I made a collection of 10,000 that are all one of ones, and that kind of diminishes the work that someone like you put in with the different meaning of one of ones. And like that's not cool, because like you definitely probably spent a lot more time on those than I had to. Well, I actually had endless hours of tech troubleshooting, but not doing actual art. But yeah, like I think it is important to figure out terms like this, because there's a big difference there. Like if people start seeing massive collections of thousands that all claim to be one of ones, it's going to be less impactful when like a dedicated smaller artist like you comes around and says, I have these one of ones for sale. So like, cool, one of ones aren't special, they're everywhere. So maybe we need to figure out some terms.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is the work of art historians to do, right? I studied art history, so I digged a lot into this terminology of what art is and what term stands for what and what does this mean and so on and so forth. Like realistic art, what does that mean? It's a period of style in a certain time frame, right? So yeah, this is science actually. And I think we need another maybe 10 years to work on that.
And the thing with English is no one can regulate it. We don't have any kind of central authority on that. Cosmos Kiwi, you got your hand up?
Yeah, it's good. It's a good discussion. I think probably most people can recognize that, you know, for example, our collection, every Kiwi is technically unique, but everyone's got different traits and they're combined in different ways. And I think most people will kind of understand that collection is not one of one, and most people wouldn't describe it as a one of one. And yeah, obviously different to other people's collections where they you know, clearly put each piece is, you know, generated from the ground up. And so yeah, I think yeah, it's an interesting thought that actually, you know, you could call them both one of one, but I think in practice people are just describing it as one of one if it's handcrafted. Did you, just to go back to that wallet, did you mention what the wallet was called? Or I don't know if we can pin it on the...
I am the worst marketer ever. I might not have.
I didn't hear it.
I will pin it to the top right now if that's okay. But it's Taboo, TABU, and then the actual handle here on Twitter is Taboo.
Okay,
just the word app after.
It's too taboo to talk about. Is that?
Yeah, exactly. We're making crypto taboo again.
I see.
Yes.
I I had
Thank
a
you for
question
answering
about-
that.
Yeah. I thought I wasn't sure. Yeah, I wasn't sure I caught it. I got a question about DAOs. I don't know if maybe this has already been talked about. You mentioned to me about the voting power being weighted towards the NFTs. So is voting power going to be on NFT ownership, or is it also going to be token weighted, or both?
In our case, it'll be purely our NFT collection, as like governance tokens. But I imagine Ruan might want to speak on like, I'm sure you could also do stars or even hybrid ones.
Yeah, I think for the V1, it's going to be like each NFT you own will be one vote within the DAO. There are cool things you can do with, where the more rare NFTs have more voting power. We're looking into how to do that, but I think the V1 will be based upon each individual NFT you own.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's super. In addition to eventually adding like voting power by rarity, it would also be cool to have the option for the opposite, which is you get one vote if you hold one of this collection. Doesn't matter if you hold 50 or one, or if it's rare or whatever. Because like that's kind of the system I want to use for something else that I'm not going to get into now. But yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. There's a way as well, though. You can game that pretty easily, right? You can just distribute all of your NFTs into like a bunch of different wallets, and then they can all vote. And then the people who don't do that kind of lose out of that governance.
True.
But yeah, I mean, there's like everyone wants to govern differently, right? Just like and people want mutable and immutable collections. Some people may want more weight on more rare NFTs because they're valued much higher, right? Like if you have more stars, you have more votes in governance, right? If you have a more rare NFT that's worth more stars, should you have more weight in governance? It's a conversation for each community to have.
Ruan, do you know, I know we want to try and be one of like the very first DAOs that launch when the contracts go live. If we were to set up with that initial model where it's one NFT to one vote, would it be easy enough to like convert or transfer that to the rarity based model going forwards? Because we definitely do have a rarity system in ours, this one, unlike the Joes.
I can't speak to that, but I'm pretty sure that it would be. I think it'd probably be something that's just more or less like a toggle button or like a migration to do that. I think that's something that's
spinning up a new DAO, actually, right? Because a collection could be the governance token for multiple DAOs, I assume.
Yeah. So yeah, there's no reason why that wouldn't be the case.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Very cool.
So yeah, you can also just spin up another DAO and abandon the old one, I guess, if you want.
Yeah, and in our case, it's a signaling DAO, so like that's not a big deal, anyways. It's not like you're spinning down something and making a transition that people might be sketched out by. So that's super exciting.
For yours, it also kind of makes sense to have a DAO as well, right? Because there's a redistribution component to it.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that coming online. I think it's gonna be really exciting. Yeah, for sure. I think I guess the community is going to be sorry.
No, I do this thing when I think out loud sometimes. I cut you off. Please continue.
Oh, I was just going to say, I mean, we've got people who, yeah, I mean, the keys are, I guess we can hook the keys up to the DAO. That would make the most sense. That would make all the number of Kiwis. Yeah, I'd have to think about how to set it up. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it coming online for sure. I think it's going to be really important in directing the community, and Queen Kiwi's got lots of cool ideas for the enemies of the Kiwis, and yeah. Sorry, go on, Timmy.
So it sounds like this won't be your last question.
Not even a question, just a thought I had. Like with this DAO setup, you can do interesting stuff. Like I think I'm going to do this with the Joes once available. Have all of the royalties from a collection go to the DAO that is governed by that collection. Like that's super cool, I think.
Yeah, I think a lot of people want to do that. I think Wolfman also is talking about doing that as well.
Yeah, we've gone for 0% royalties at the moment. I don't know how the new pseudo swap, was it Infinity Pool, will work. I guess the revenues could be directed to the DAO. Yeah,
so for Infinity Swap, you'll be able to choose a different royalty percentage than what you have for Marketplace. So you can lower your royalty. Well, you can't lower anything from 0, I guess.
Probably won't be profitable. Okay, so
for someone like Selby, yeah, you can have different royalties on Infinity Swap as you would marketplace. Kind of makes more sense for like the one of ones or more rare ones. Like for Infinity, it's generally like the floor NFTs, which are gonna have which will be using the Infinity most.
So what's going to be the advantage of the Infinity pool over the marketplace?
If you have a bunch of NFTs, you can just create a pool. You can set a curve on how you want to sell or how you want to buy NFTs. And it's generally if you generally don't care about the NFTs and you're like, hey, I just want like 10 Kiwis at like the lowest price, it'll route you through the pools to get you that. Whereas in the marketplace, you could choose each individual NFT you want. Now we do have collection bids, right? So there's a little bit of overlap there. But in general, marketplace is going to be for stuff that is more rare than regular floor NFTs.
Okay, cool.
All right, guys, we're past an hour here, but this has been a super fun conversation. I don't think we have any more people that want to come up and chat, but Sebi and Cosmos Kiwis, is there anything you want to leave us with? Yeah, Sebi.
Yeah, just because I see White Marlin here in the room. Thanks for this. I just saw it on your account. There's more people, but thanks for the tokenomics update thing. I was really stoked to see that there's changes coming. I was really, really happy because I'm one of these idealists. I didn't take anything out. I put everything into staking, securing the network, and I really enjoy to see that there's changes coming. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot, White Marlin, Setmos, I think Cosmos, DeFi Drill, and some others who are helping out there. You guys are pretty amazing.
Yeah, just wanted to say thanks to everyone for coming. Thanks to the Stargaze team for hosting these spaces and having such a great platform to share work with and build communities. Thanks to Starty and Sirkin for bearing with me in the Discord, setting up the project. Thanks to sort of all the members of my community. It's been really, I guess, heartening and really encouraging to get really good feedback about the Kiwis, and it's really encouraging and makes us want to do a lot more. Thanks to all the collaborators, been very open, lots to name, but Bernie, for example, been very active, Barto, Tom D, Benjamin Stars, DLX, loads of great members of our community. Probably missed off a few. I'm sorry about that. And yeah, thanks to everyone for coming. Thanks to Terra Spaces. I can see here, you're always recording our spaces, and I think really incredibly important to document everything that we can go back and listen to, and it's really great dedication. I don't know how he does it, so yeah, great. Thank you so much, everyone.
Great. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining, and Timmy and Stardy for coming up and chatting with us as well. Everyone have a great Freshman Friday tomorrow, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.